There's so many things that set this facility apart from any other hospital in the nation, whether it's civilian or whether it's military. The military does a lot of things. We take care of a lot of people, but here at Walter Reed, this is the hub. This is the presidential hospital.
Our patients, they volunteered to serve their country. A lot of them have sustained injuries, both mental and physical, that are traumatic, that are above and beyond the normal stuff you'd see in a hospital. From a construction point of view, you have to understand that, and you have to care at a different level. Hospitals, they're not all the same. This one's different. So the level of caring that you come in here with has to be greater than any project you've ever been on before in your life. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart, and I think the patients and staff understand that as well. Things you need to think about in the hospital are infection control risks, the sensitivity of the patient population and staff population, and the fact that it's always operational. So we're a 24/7 operation. We need to stay that way. And to execute, loud, noisy, dirty work is very difficult. So it takes a certain level of person to actually do a good job here and be successful and keep coming back.
It's not just customers and people walking by while you're doing construction taking a peek. These are actually patients and families of patients and veterans that are in a working hospital environment, and we need to make sure they understand the impact to the patients is minimal during our construction process.
I am constantly aware of the fact that that person standing next to me right now, she may have a loved one that's overseas, and she may have a loved one that's here sick in the hospital. Sometimes it's that same person, sometimes their families are separated by thousands of miles. It's constantly being aware when we walk around a medical center like this of what that person standing next to you might be going through.
My firstborn was around 2 weeks old when I initially deployed to Iraq. So by the time I came back from that deployment, he was already walking. So I missed that whole first year of his life being deployed.
They've missed the first steps of their children's first words, their children's first birthdays. All of those firsts that we take for granted, they've missed and sacrificed so that they could be on that front line to take care of us.
So you constantly have to sort of be aware of the words that you're using, the conversations that you might be having when other people are around, and remembering that people in this place are going through some of the most exceptionally difficult times of their lives, and that we need to show them the respect, the compassion, the care that they deserve because of what they're doing and how important it is for all of us.
We have all these barriers up for infection control, paperwork you have to do just to start work here, and that's tough. But what's tough too, and it was often overlooked, is when you're leaving the construction site and you're wearing the Tyvek suit, maybe you get out of it and you go grab something to eat or go walk down the hallway and you're chatting with your buddy. You have to be mindful that there's people all around you that are sick at all different levels in every sense of the word, and you have to make sure that you're always mindful of them, infection risks. If you're grabbing lunch in the galley and you happen to sit down next to somebody who just happens to be an oncology patient, and maybe that's the first time they've been out of their room, in weeks, and you're putting them at risk by not just recognizing the fact that, hey, you're sitting right next to somebody who's very sick. You always have to keep those kind of things in mind, and maybe just, something as simple as just moving over a couple seats and giving them some space, both with their family, so they're not having to hear maybe the discussions you're having. They want to have some time with their family, some personal time. And also, again, that infection risk, that dust you might be carrying on yourself that you don't even realize, those particulates can't make it over to them and maybe even cause them more health issues.
It's not something that comes to your mind right off the bat. It's not on the forefront, but here at Walter Reed, you have to make sure that it is. Something as simple as dropping a hammer from a 20-foot ladder onto a metal surface, that loud noise could trigger something in one of our patients that just got back from a deployment walking down the hallway and send them into a flashback
I was deployed earlier this year, and actually this happened earlier this morning. I was sitting at my desk in my office, and a loud bang went off outside of my office, and it was, you know, some construction work that was going on. But I don't have to tell you that a lot of people here, the first time when they hear that bang, they're not thinking construction work. Their minds are going back to a place where things might have been really scary. Battlefield, they might have, you know, been afraid of losing their own life, lost the life of somebody that they love.
Even myself, I still jump to loud noises and sometimes have issues in large crowds depending on the situation. I prefer not to be in crowds if I can help it. My heart will start racing. It catches you off guard more than startling a normal person that has not seen combat or experienced any of those loud noises, whether that be gunfire or explosions or anything else you can encounter overseas. It definitely has an impact on you immediately. It sends a shock throughout your body essentially and gives you goosebumps.
A few years back, in Building 1, some renovations on the upper floor required a compressed nail gun to be utilized to install tracking for drywall. That nail gun is powered by basically a .22 caliber shell that has the same sound as a gunshot, very similar.
Emergency 911, you're on recording.
Yeah, somebody just told me there's a shooting. There's people running out of my building at work.
And a lot of calls on this. We have officers.
I ended up evacuating all of Building 1 and a couple adjacent buildings because we thought that we had an active shooter. So immediately the hospital goes code white. It's a real big mess. If somebody would have just thought ahead of time, hey, I need to get with facilities and maybe communicate that I'm about to use this tool. Something they wouldn't normally think about, but if you're going to work at Walter Reed, these are the kind of things we have to think about. We have to think about patient population.
You know, I understand the bottom line is you have to get things done. You're working for a boss. Your boss is saying, hey, this has got to get done or whatever, but you have to understand, if that was your family member, wouldn't you want that sort of respect? How would you want them treated, and then treat them that way?
I would say that, you know, coming to work at a place like Walter Reed, just, you know, remember that we are taking care of people that are truly heroes, you know, and these are not the stories that you're going to see on TV every day, but these are the actual genuine heroes that are here, you know, fighting to protect all of our freedoms, fighting to protect all of us. And so really, you know, try to take a couple minutes, you know, when you walk on this base every morning, to think about the people here that are serving all of us, and to really experience, you know, what it means to be able to be a part of this institution, because we're asking you to come here and help us make this place the exceptional facility that needs to be to take care of some truly exceptional people. So we thank you for being here, and we want you to also remember the privilege that it is. It's certainly something that I think of every day when I walk on this base.